Yeah. So I just want to repeat again. So RPA is nothing but use of a software or a RPA tool which mimic the actions a human user would perform on the computer. So it is mostly rule based and repetitive and structured data. So before we go into it, I just want to show a scenario. So suppose we have a input file where a data entry system, basically data entry user works on it. So just consider this input file where we have an order request from various sources, and being a data entry operator, I have to enter this information in various applications which involve in my enterprise. So currently I want to input in one application which is a order system application. So which this is just a sample. So consider me as a data entry operator. So file first I'll log in into the system by giving the credentials, and then I'll add an order into my system, so or my inventory. So I'll get the option and I'll get the input file. So I'll be inputting the data exactly how it is present in the Excel sheet or any other data source. It can be a other web application, or it can be a database. So once I submit order, I'll get a reference number. I have to note the reference number in my inventory or in my records. So this is how the operation manually done by a data entry operator. So here I just considered a very small example of a very small input file and a very small application. But in general, we have a huge amount of data from various sources, and we also have a huge amount of the volume every day, and we have various applications, so number of applications are very high. So we have to enter in more than one application, whether it can be a simple Windows application, or it can be a mainframe application, or it can be a Java based application, or it can be any web application. So I'll show you all those applications in coming time. So right now I'm entering this in a simple Windows application. So it is taking me around 1 minute. So if the same operation, like if we want to implement in using robotics, so using an RPA tool, so just check like how much time it will take. So I'm closing the file and I'm opening a tool called Blue Prism. So coming to the installation, I'll discuss about the installation in the next class, because installing and configuring itself take more than 1 hour. So we have various configurations like Active Directory authentication and connecting to a server database. So the database is not residing in our local system. So we have so many configurations in it. So we'll discuss in maybe next coming session, next coming classes. So right now I have opened the tool called Brew Prism, and here we develop various objects and processes. So I'll discuss about them like later, but right now I just want to show how the business process works. So the same operation which I have showed you manually, so we are trying to automate it using Blue Prism. So don't worry about the code, I'll show everything in the next coming classes. So the operation, just focus on the operation. So if you see, it has opened so it has opened the Excel file, it has opened the application, and it is doing automatically. It is entering the credentials, it is entering the input data. So each time it is entering the each row in the Excel sheet. So it is easy for us to sit and watch the operation happening, and we can also check the reference number which we get. So maybe in the work queue, which I'll be discussing later. So if you check over here, the total work time which is it is taking for each record is not even less than 5 seconds. so mostly it is 4 seconds. So the same operation, if a human person has to do, he's taking 1 minute for the record, but whereas the tool is taking less than 5 seconds. So there is a huge difference in the operation time, and there are so many benefits. So it's just a like brief example. So normally RPA is like we have like so many people working on a manual task. So basically it will be on a computer. So he'll be working on various applications. He will be getting the data from various sources. He'll be entering the data, and not just entering the data, not just the data entry course, he'll also do various investigation and data processing. So data processing in the sense, he'll first investigate the data, whether the data is genuine or fraud, whether it is valid or invalid. So let's take a scenario of a common banking application, which usually which we usually been automated in many of the banking sectors. So most probably we'll consider an account opening application. So if a user want to open his account, he'll open his account from various sources. He can go to the bank and fill the paper form, or he can simply open the online portal and fill the details, or he can even call the customer and give his details, and the customer will come to his home and he'll take the all the details required. So there are so many different ways input file can be generated. So the paper form will be in the form of image, whereas the online portal and the person who comes home and take the detail can be in the form of a database, or it can be stored in the form of an Excel file. So the person will come and will I'll note the details, and he'll come and he'll enter in the Excel file and he'll give as an input to us. So it can be in any way. So once the data comes to us, we have to take the data from various sources, and we have to enter the data in various applications present in our enterprise. So before entering the data, we have to check whether the person is a valid person, or he is a fraud person. Like we have to check a kind of a background from various third party tools which will be available with us, and various third party applications which will enable us whether he has any pending debts or pending loans which he has to repay, or it will also tell us whether the person is having account already in our current bank. uh, Give me a second. So based on that, we have to validate the data by inputting the input data we get in the various applications. It can be a web application, or it can be a Java application, or it can be a mainframe application, or it can be a Windows application. So we'll be automating all the tasks which doesn't require human thinking, which is highly rule based and repetitive, and you having a structured data format like an input file or an XML file or a database in the database in any Oracle or SQL. So I'll just show you the tool. So this is the process which we have developed right now, and it has taken very less time to process. So similarly, I'll just create an object just to show you. So I'll discuss about what is object and process like in next coming classes. So it already has the name. Yes. So once we create an object, we have to configure what type of application it is. So whether it is a Windows application, whether it is a Java based application, whether it is a browser based, or it's a mainframe. So browser based is nothing but any website like a google.com, or any enterprise application which is in internet. So or Java based application which is basically a jar file. I'll show you the demo applications which we have. So Windows application you have already seen, it's the target order system, and we have a mainframe application, so which looks like this. Sorry, yeah, so which looks like this, something like a green screen application. And I'll just close it. We'll see the automation in next coming classes anyway. And we also will look into the Java application. So I have a simple Java calculator. So the Java application basically will have an extension of .jar. So we can find any like better application in internet, and we can also automate that. So it doesn't have a extension of exe, but it will have an extension of jar. So we'll also install Java, and we'll install Java runtime environment in order for this jar file to work. So we'll automate this application also. And anyway, the browser based application you already know. Any website we automate, basically we automate order system, and we automate a web application which will contain all the HTML components. So not just a simple website where it will have a username and password. It's not like anything which is very simple. So we'll do an application which will have all types of web elements. So I'll just show you if I have. So don't worry about the code by looking into the logic and the flow. So it is very simple. It doesn't require any coding experience. But if you have something like coding experience, it is always good anyway. But don't worry about it. I'll explain each and every feature in next coming classes. So we'll be automating this particular application. It will take time to load.
Is there any training required?
Yes, I didn't get you. Can you repeat, please?
I mean, like any software background. Um,
Uh, as I told you, if you have some programming experience, even in C programming language, it is good to learn. But
yeah, okay.
if you don't have it, it's like you'll learn it in the course. Like during the course, you can learn it. So it's all about how to build an algorithm by thinking a flow. So you don't have to worry about it. But there are scenarios where we have to use the utilities given to us by Blue Prism, for example, to connect to the database. So there are some utilities given already by Blue Prism, so we can directly use it. But if you want to change it, you should at least have some VB knowledge, so which is
Yeah.
similar to C programming. So if it is good, like if you know, it is good, or else we can manage it. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll be trying to automate something like this where it will have all possible HTML elements. We'll have a drop down, we'll have a radio button, we'll have checkboxes. So we'll have a calendar, and we'll have a drop down and a submit button. So we'll try to automate not just this. We'll automate a kind of this application where it has various HTML elements, so that you'll have more idea, and you can automate any web application in future. So I just want to close it. So we'll create objects and process, which I'll discuss in the next coming classes. And let's go back to the slides. So right now you might have got some idea of what is RPA. So I'll again repeat the definition. So robotic process automation, or robotics, is use of a software to mimic the actions a human user would perform on a PC at a scale to automate business processes that are highly repetitive, rule-based, and use structured data. So, the business processes may be payments investigation, or any data entry, or any kind of customer onboarding. So, which are highly repetitive and rule-based, which doesn't involve human thinking, and thinking which requires out of the box or out of the conditions which we already set. So those things we can automate it. So for example, there is a scenario where an operator has to decide whether the person who initiated the transaction is a single person or he belongs to a company. So or he belongs to any other bank. So by just listening to the name, we cannot identify. So the transaction will be initiated from JPMC. So the robo, if we code in the program, so for the robo, JPMC doesn't make sense because he doesn't know whether he is a person or he is a company or he is a bank. So he doesn't know who has initiated the transaction. But in the flow, we have different sources, like different flow for each person. So if a company has initiated the transaction, we have to do different checks. If a person has initiated the transaction, we have to do different checks. And if a bank has initiated, we have to do like a different check. So these kind of decisions where we have to think out of the box. So you may consider like JPMC, we can give in the data source, like if you get input from JPMC. But in future, we might get input from other bank which we don't know, or we might get input from various other sources which can be again like breaking the logic and flow. So these kind of things we cannot automate. But if there is a simple flow which is same for all the possible inputs, and which is highly structured and highly rule based and highly repetitive, only these are like possible for 100% automation. So the scenario which I said is maybe it is eligible, or it can be automated to a partial level, but may not be 100%. But even if it is partial, we look into the return on investment. So if we are investing on it for a partial automation, how much benefit it is going to get in future. So you have to look into it, and if you think there is a possible return on investment, we can still proceed in the automation of such applications. So basically, we are trying to replace the humans with robots. So we are creating a virtualized workforce. So replacing humans in the sense, not completely replacing 100%. Maybe if a team of 10 will reduce into the team of 5. So where 5 will be doing more important and interesting jobs, rather than just data entry or just validating the data source, or just checking the common rules. So rather than this boring work, he'll be occupied in more interesting work. At the same time, it will cut the team into like short the team into 5, or it can be up to 50%, where it is useful for an organization, so that they don't have to pay extra salary, or they don't have to uh, give the value added non-value added services to them. So you just have to imagine like how a team of a person is replaced by robots, how many benefits we get. So we can think of it. So so those all benefits are considered for the organization. So that's the reason why nowadays most of the organizations and clients are looking into RPA. So so interaction like with the system, so it is basically interacting with the computer in the same way how the human user is doing. So there is no complex integration is involved. So as I said previously, we discussed various applications like mainframe application, Java application, and Windows application. So we don't have to involve in the complex integration of this application. So for example, if my automation process involves in all these applications, we don't have to struggle a lot to integrate these applications. We just have to write individual code to automate these applications, which is inbuilt feature of the tool, and we just have to combine them in the process. So process is meant for combining various business objects, and we just have to write business objects which will dedicatedly automate those particular type of applications. So as we saw, when we are creating a business object, it is asking what type of application you want to create. So we will create such type of applications which is dedicated for one application, and we integrate them in the process in a very simple way, just by connecting the logic, and it makes no complex integrations in the business process. So So the business configurations of processes that can be automated through simple intuitive user interface. So we just work on the user interface by spying the elements. We don't have to again think our heads and break our heads to get the background development attributes or development things which is being used to develop the application. We just have to automate the application by capturing the elements and user interface which is given to the human user as well. So it is very simple and very efficient, and it will result in very good benefits. So as we see in the previous demo, so there is a Windows application which is automated by a computer, so which locks onto the machine and which will also locks onto the application and works in the system. So it will enter the data which is given by the Excel sheet, and it will try to imitate the all the human actions performed. So it will enter the order system details, and it will also enter the demo like records, and it will also take the reference number, and it will also give the report where it has worked on all possible applications. So it will also we can run the same code in multiple machines, so all the machines will work in the similar way. So for example, we have an Excel sheet placed in a shared folder, so where all the machines have access to that shared folder, and that shared folder has more than 10,000 records. So if five robots are nothing but machines. So five machines are working on them. So all the 10,000 records will be done, all worked just in 1 or 2 hours. So if you see, it is just taken 5 seconds for my automation, which is very small anyway. But if it is a complex or a kind of a big application or a big business process, it will rather take 5 minutes to complete the automation. So I mean to say, it is less than the time which is taken by a human user. We will be doing the same operation manually. So that's what I want to say. And coming to the benefits of RPA, so it has way benefits. It has very huge benefits, like reduce the cost as we automate the transaction processing, and because we also invest on the person, we also invest on the background of the person, because whenever we take a person into bank or any secured environment, a secured company, we have to do all kind of background checks. So if it is a robot, we don't have to do, and we don't have to invest on all these non-value added activities. So by doing like kind of background checks, and the person will also have expect increments. He also take breaks, and he hardly works for 8 hours a day. But when it comes to robot, it will work for 24 hours. We can configure the robot to work for 24 hours, which is highly accurate, and which is uh, like a mistake proof process, which reduces the human errors. So it will also result us in high transaction efficiency. So if we have to complete 10,000 transactions in a day, so we just have to increase the number of robots, we just have to increase the number of machines where our existing automation process works. So once we develop a process, once we develop a automation, we run that automation simply in multiple machines, so that all the machines will work the same logic, and it will perform the same automation, and it will try to complete the uh, records, or complete the transactions pending in a time in within the time, and it will also try to complete so many volume, like maybe 10,000 per day. So it don't have to worry about the service level agreement we had with the customer. So the organization will say that your account will be processed in 2 days. So we don't have to again uh, pull our heads to complete it in 2 days, because we just have to increase the number of robots based on the input volume or the forecast of the volume we get every day. So you can go through them, and it is self-explanatory. So it reduces transactional errors, drives higher accuracy, mistake-proof process, enhances compliance and control. So drives improvement in business outcome through improvement in time, quality, and cost of transaction. accelerating business outcome without increasing program complexity or headcount. So we don't have to increase the headcount, and we can reach the targets. So the target industries are mainly banks or BPOs or any telecom companies, where a person or operational guy will do a lot of things manually, which is rule based and structured and highly repetitive. So as I said, if you consider simple data entry or customer onboarding, so if you can consider simple customer onboarding, you'll have thousands of new accounts opening every day. So which requires validation, data entry, and email notification. So we can do all these things using RPA tools, and we can reach high efficient and higher accuracy. So coming to the tools, we have Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, and UiPath. So Blue Prism, and coming to all these tools, they all are similar, and they work in the same way mostly. The technology and the type of the flow they use and underlying development process they use is different. So at the end, all the applications will automate all types of client applications, like a Windows application, mainframe application, Java, and uh, a normal web application. But the thing is, how they usually do is different. So coming to Blue Prism, we have like out of the box management console, where we can see the management information reporting, and we also have a triggering events. So like you'll see in the next coming classes anyway. So we'll see the differences in maybe once you learn the Blue Prism, we'll see the differences of the different various tools. So but the thing is, it's common, like how many like how many transactions it is processing. It's all depending on your system accuracy and how efficiently you have developed your process. So but the various the each tool has a kind of different like slightly different features. So for example, in Automation Anywhere and UiPath, you have a feature of recording. So which enables us just by playing the recording and doing the task manually, and once we do the task, the process will record our the task, and it will generate the code for us. And once we run it, it will simply run the automation. So we can record it, and we can change the code which is generated automatically, and then we can run it and use it as an automation process. But when it comes to Blue Prism, we don't have the recording feature, but we have more interesting features rather than that. So more interesting feature we have is like a work queues, so where we can monitor each and every transaction coming into the application. So the same thing, if you want to implement in other tools, you have to implement out of the box logic. As I said, you have to write complex integration code and other things. So but when it comes to Blue Prism, you have everything in the library. And like if you want to write anything out of the box, you have the utility given to us by Blue Prism. So you can simply use the utility and just configure it. It will work exactly how it works in other tools. So it is easy to learn all the tools anyway, but it depends on your interest and depends on the market value. So currently, as I say, all the three tools have equal market value, but it depends. Anytime in future, a tool come with an update, and it might get the best feature of all the other tools, which is not present in all the other tools basically, and it will be on top. So, but I can say if you learn one tool, so it will be easy for you to like learn the other tool, and you can easily automate the application in other tools. So that's it. And how client chooses a tool is again matters. So it depends on the cost of the tool. So if it is a large enterprise, and like depends on the return on investment again. So like paying the license for the tool, if it is costing more to the client, he'll obviously choose a cheaper one. But at the same time, his requirement is having the reporting purpose. If he wants the reporting capabilities and analytics capabilities, he'll definitely compromise the cost and he'll choose a proper tool. So it all depends on how we choose a tool, and it all depends on how our requirement suits the tool bestly. So we'll see that in next coming classes. Once you learn Blue Prism, you will be able to easily understand the difference, and you will be able to learn the other tool as well. So that time you will be more like knowledgeable to choose which tool to choose for a particular automation. So coming to future of RPA, so potential impact in economy is like about 6.7 trillion by 2025. So it's a survey, and it's like saving the income of 6.7 trillion dollars, which is not a, small amount. And return on investment, as I said, once we invest on RPA tool, so it will calculate how much we are going to get in return. So once we invest on licenses, once we invest on the computers, once we invest on the developers who develop the business process, so we are going to calculate how much I'm going to get the return, and when I'm going to get the return. So as the survey has given the results, like it will vary from 40% to 200%. It will vary from 30% to 200%. So increased job satisfaction for a human employee. So as I said, humans are more occupied now in more interesting tasks rather than just data entry tasks. So even though it reduces the human count, it doesn't mean the jobs will be gone. So it's mainly kind of humans will just move their roles from one particular boring role to an interesting role maybe. So you don't have to worry about it. As long as you are best at your job, you no one can actually fire your role. So that's what even RPA suggests. And coming to next wave of artificial intelligence. So as I said, currently we are just doing highly repetitive rule based and structured data, but we can also teach robots kind of a little human thinking as well, like kind of how to think of examples. For example, previously we have thought about JPMC. So how we have decided that JPMC is a bank? It's by a research. It's kind of a knowledge we have from various sources and the learning we had. So the same way the robots try to learn their way. So it's not just the exact scenario, but mostly kind of a human thinking we inject into the robots, and which is not 100% possible now, but in future maybe we can inject, and the AI going to merge with the RPA. So if you are now an RPA developer, it is like very easy, and the doors are open for you to learn like artificial intelligence and machine learning and other technologies. So coming to the risks and challenges, as I said, data integrity. So because we are working on huge amount of volume, if you have not coded properly, so you might also miss the volume. So there are some cases in the record in the Excel sheet previously we have seen, so where we cannot track them. So if it is not properly coded, if it is not properly recorded, we cannot track whether it has entered or it has generated the reference number or not. So at the same time, like if there is any change in the application future, so for example my Windows application has also got another value which we have to enter, or not just the 4 or 5 columns. So again the automation will affect, and we have to come back and change our code accordingly. So so malfunctioning in case of indiscreet and improper monitoring. So if you are not monitoring it correctly, at the end of the day, you might also result in a huge amount of wrongly filled data. So if you are not monitoring it correctly or not tested it correctly, so you just left it for a day. So at the end of the day, it has processed nearly 10,000 transactions or 50,000 transactions, and all the 50,000 transactions are wrongly filled. So now you have to manually go into each transaction and correct it. It's just a pain point, and you just have to invest again separately on it. So you just have to ensure that these risks are fulfilled, and then you are good, and you can use the RPA tools, and you will get a very good ROI. ROI in the sense return on investment. So the challenges are expensive RPA tools. So as I said, RPA tools are not cheap. They inject the license costs. So each license again, it might incur a lot of money. If you want more licenses, it will just ask for more money. So the licenses again in the sense, so if you want to run your process in 100 machines, so you have to buy 100 licenses. So because the this is the way how they are going to charge. This is the way how RPA enterprises like Blue Prism Automation Anywhere UiPath is charging the clients. So for development and testing environment, you will get any number of sources for free. You'll get anything, any kind of licenses for free. But when it comes to production environment, where it will operate on production cases, production transactions, so they'll keep a limit by saying that so you can only run these particular machines with the current license. So this is the way how it works, and you'll understand it later more clearly anyway. And coming to other challenge, skilled workforce and availability. So as I said, we are going to target operations team. So once we develop the process, we are not going to stay with the operations team permanently. We are going to leave the role, and we are going to give this automation to the operations team. So they should be skilled enough to use this automation. They should be skilled enough to understand any error occurring like occurring in future, and have to come back to us in case we need it. So this both development and support is kind of risky. Even now we are hardly finding a good developers for RPA. So it's like kind of a workforce unavailability right now. But surely, like in future, maybe a tool will be more easier and more easy for even operations team to understand. And one more challenge is pushback from employees due to fear of job. So fear of job loss is like, as I said, as long as you are good, no one is going to fire you. But in the case of the team cut down, so as I said, the team will definitely cut down if we implement automation. But the people who are like removed from a team will be moved to a better team, and will be like doing a more interesting jobs. So it's not like you are always losing your job. So that's it for the course. And as I said, I just want to repeat the summary. So automation accelerates the journey to realize business outcome. So it will give in a very good outcome, and it will be very benefit for enterprises. And you want to ask any doubt, you can ask me right now, or I'll just finish the summary.
Okay, okay.
So so you can ping me in the chat window, because I'm getting a lot of disturbance. And I just want to complete the summary. So RPA is nothing but use of a software to imitate the human user, which are highly repetitive, rule-based, and structured data. I hope you understood the definition. So yes, so I hope you understood the definition, and I have showed you the sample example, and we'll come in coming classes, we'll see more such examples which is highly targeting the rule based and repetitive tasks, and we are highly targeting in automating these kind of tasks in various applications. And we also create an infrastructure, not just installing the software and working on it simply. We'll create an infrastructure which is similar to an enterprise operation. So where how they develop the process and how they run in various machines at a time. So we'll create that infrastructure using Azure virtual machines. So we create the virtual machines in Azure cloud, and we run our process in various machines at a time. So So if you see the tool, so we have something called control room over here. So if you install simply, it will just show you one machine over here. But if you install in an Azure cloud where all the machines are connected in a network, so you'll see more than one machine, just like you see more than one process here. So you just have to drag and run it on multiple machines at a time, so that your same operations will work on multiple machines at once, and it will highly like it will highly try to perform the given input task. And if there are 10,000 transactions, we can just place that input file in a shared path, and all the robots will have an access to that shared path, and all the robots will pick that file, and it will uh, add the items, and it will perform the operation, so that it will return in very good investment, and it will complete the SLA on time. So we will try to implement the same infrastructure how we have like how we do in an enterprise. So we also try to develop various infrastructures like development environment, testing environment, and a production environment. So each environment will have a different machines connected differently. So once you develop a code in one environment, you have to make a release and push the code into another environment. So we see that as well. And anyway, we are going to see all the feature of the tool. So we'll see all the features available for the tool. So we have a release management as well, which will cover as a part of a feature. But anyway, we'll see how an organization will do release management, how they do backup of a release file. So because if anything fails in the release, we should have a backup, so that we can revert at any time. So once we push a code there and we got a defect, so we fix the defect and push the code again into the that particular environment. But now it has breaked everything. So now we should revert back to the existing release file. So we'll look after it as well, how to make the release file, how to use the source control applications. So we'll see all these in next coming classes. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me. You can ask me now, or you can ask me uh, later by just calling me, or you can WhatsApp me as well. So that's it from my side.